Hi, it's Penny here, and today we're going to be putting together my reading plans for June. As usual, we're going to use my TBR Machine website, which spits out random reading prompts, to pick books off my physical TBR shelves. I have actually just now moved my TBR shelves from my actual shelves, which are still empty, onto my TBR cart because there are not too many books left now, which is exciting. It is two-sided, so you can't see all the books, but we're making progress. I've put the books on the bottom that I can't actually read yet because I need to read other books first, and in my June TBR I'm going to try and fit some of the books that will unlock these bottom books. I've put some of them here, so I think the first 4 here are books that would unlock some of these lower ones. So when it comes to trying to pick books off here that match the prompts, I'm going to prioritize these ones on the left if I can. Also, this month I'm only going to pick 3 books using the prompts because May did not go to plan. So it's not quite the end of May yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have The Arrival by Ted Chiang left over. I'm going to read it in June if I don't finish it in May. And I expect I'll also have a lot of The Golden Key left, so I will also carry that over into June. Also up on this top shelf is 2 books that my sister lent me. So I have Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. This is a much loved movie that I did watch, and I'm really interested to see how the movie compares to the book. I don't want to give you a synopsis because if I give you a synopsis, I'm going to give you a synopsis of the movie, which is maybe not even the synopsis of the book. But there's a girl named Sophie who ends up getting involved with this wizard named Howl, and magical things happen from there. I also have borrowed from my sister A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett because I mentioned that this is a classic that I wouldn't mind reading. I think I watched a movie of this when I was a kid. It's about this young girl whose father dies, and so she goes from being like kind of a rich, privileged girl to being very poor. So while I don't often like classics, I am excited to give that a read and see whether maybe I read it in the past and I've just forgotten. Anyway, so I've already got those 2 books and these 2 books, which is 4 books already, as well as I do have some ebooks and audiobooks from the library, but I will talk about those at the end. Right now, let's get into picking some reading prompts and picking some books from here. So our first reading prompt is going to be: read a book written for children. Do I have any children's books on here? Doubtful. Ugh. Oh. I do have this one, which is kind of children. It's got this little thing because it's an ex-library book, and this is a signal that it's like quite a high reading level, but it's still a children's book. I was going to save this for like October and Spookathon type time, but I could read it now and it would be nice and easy for me. Okay, we're going to put this as the first book. I honestly don't know much about it except that it kind of gives me a series of unfortunate event vibes. We've got these 3 kids, maybe they're orphans. One of them doesn't speak, one of them is shamelessly candid, and one likes to sit on the roof of their house. They live in a boring small town and everyone avoids them, but then their father sends them away and they end up having an adventure. I picked this up for free from a little library, so I am excited to get to it. We'll put that as the first book. Oh, where is this now? In here. First book. Okay, next reading prompt. Read a book that intimidates you. Honestly, I could have used The Golden Key for that, but let's see. Oh, I'm supposed to be prioritizing these ones, right? I have to go with this one then. So this is The Burning Stone by Kate Elliott. It is the 3rd book in the Crown of Stars series. You can see it's very thick. It's like 916 pages. And if I read this, I will unlock the rest of the books in the series, which are down here. I have the whole 7-book series. Most of it I got like at second-hand shops, so there's no reason not to read it. It's kind of like Game of Thrones in that a lot of people are fighting over the throne. You've also got these dragon people attacking the country and these dark elves and also these other people doing dark magic. Although primarily we're following this young girl who knows maths type magic or astronomy type magic. It's been a while since I read the second book, so I really shouldn't have put this one off as long as I have. Oh, there is also a guy who is able to control these really dangerous dogs who only follow people from a particular bloodline. I don't know, it's a very complicated story, as I said, a bit like Game of Thrones in that there's lots of death and violence, but I do really enjoy it, so I do want to continue the series. I've been putting it off because it's so thick, but I need to get over that, or else I'm never going to read all the thick books on this cart. So that's the second book. Oh, it's taking up too much room. Okay, and then our last prompt is read a self-published book. So, I'm pretty sure that the only self-published book on this cart is this one, so that means I will be reading this one, Fire and Shadow by T.G. Ayer. I've put this on my TBR a couple of times, I think, and then just not got to it, so I need to stop doing that. So I don't really know much about this, but I've just read it. It says, Maya doesn't believe the gods are real, doesn't waste her time with mere mythology. But when gods, demons, and hellhounds become the new normal, and wielding fire becomes her new skill, she must decide what it is she really believes. So I picked this up a while ago at this author fair, New Zealand author fair, and I really should have gotten to it a long time ago, so this will be the third one for June. Although I say the third one, we've actually got like 7 books up here. And there's more when we get into my ebooks and my audiobooks from the library. So, what do I have? Wait, I wrote notes somewhere. Okay, so as I was saying, I wanted to try and get some books that will help me unlock these ones at the bottom. So firstly, I've gotten from the library the ebook of Dragon's Kin, which is the 18th book in the Dragons of Pern series. I have quite a few Dragons of Pern books to read. I don't know whether I will keep going with this series because I'm a little bit iffy on the quality, but I've just started getting into the books where Todd McCaffrey took over or started writing with his mother, and then eventually he takes over the series completely. Dragon's Kin is still both of them. I have been saying I'm going to keep going at least until I get ones where it's just him writing, and then I'll decide whether I want to keep going. I do really love the Dragons of Pern world. We've got this planet where every few hundreds of years this other planet comes nearby, causing Thread to fall down, which destroys everything, and so they genetically engineered these dragons to burn this thread out of the sky, and we follow the dragon riders who ride these dragons and keep the world safe. But because it happens so irregularly, there's quite a lot of interesting politics going on. It is a really interesting world, so I'm hoping that I will find more to love within the series. Also, I do have on here the last book of the Percy Jackson series, so I'm going to listen to the audiobook of Percy Jackson and the Sea Monsters, which is the second book in the series, because I've only listened to the first one. What's the point in having the last one? I don't know. I was kind of hoping that the whole series would just magically find its way to me, but it hasn't, so I'm going to stop waiting. I'm going to listen to the audiobook. And I think that's all I've got in terms of unlocking books. I do also have the audiobook of Lovely War, which I didn't write down the author and I've forgotten. So The Lovely War is by Julie Berry, and I believe this is sort of told similar to the way the Odyssey is told. So we have the Greek gods looking down. I think it's set in World War I or World War II, and the gods are having a bit of an argument, and as part of their argument they're telling the story of this romance that's happening on our world during our actual war. Now, this is primarily a romance, and so I've seen a few people talk about it, and I kept putting off putting it on my TBR because I was like, well, does it really sound like me? It's historical fiction and romance, but I've just heard so many good reviews about it, and I do really like the aspect of the gods, so I'm gonna listen to the audiobook, and hopefully it will surprise me. And then lastly, I do also have the audiobook for The Golden Fool, which is the second book in the 20 Man trilogy, which is the third trilogy in Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings, which I am working my way through. I'm absolutely loving it, so I wanted to put the next book in the series onto my TBR. In this trilogy, we follow Fitz, who in the first trilogy learnt to be an assassin. He is a bastard son in the royal line, and he also has both the skill, which is the power that the people in the royal line have, that is kind of like telepathy, but lets them influence people's thoughts as well. He also has the wit, which allows him to bond with animals and communicate with animals. In this particular trilogy, it seems to be focusing on the prejudice against people with the wit, and really exploring that kind of magic more, which I really enjoyed the first book in the trilogy, so I'm hoping I'll enjoy the second one as well. So if I'm good at counting, that would be about 11 things on my TBR for June. I still don't know whether I'm going to be working in June or not, so I want to keep things fairly conservative. I think that seems realistic. It is also possible that some other things from May will carry over in terms of audiobooks and ebooks, but I can't predict the future, so we'll just see what happens. Do let me know if you've read any of the books that I'm planning to read in June and whether you think I'm going to like them. And of course, check in again at the end of the month to see what I thought about them. I have also lately been doing mid-month wrap-ups because I've been reading so much. Will I continue that? I don't know, but maybe. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.